Do you want or need to switch casinos? Maybe you're fed up with losing at your old casino, but a new one has opened near you. Perhaps you've moved and you want to check out what's available near your new home. Or maybe you're only just getting started at going to casinos and wonder what to look for instead of just winging it. In today's live stream, I'll share 5 tips for succeeding at new to you casinos, which I'm using to evaluate my new primary casino near my new home in Reno, Nevada. It's right, let's see, there. uh, yes, nearby. And of course, I'll be taking your questions because this is a live stream. Hello to you watching this recording on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, my Facebook profile page, or listening later to the audio on a podcast episode. Thank you for being here, and be sure to subscribe or follow for notifications so you can have your questions answered the next time I do one of these. But either way, stick around and I'm sure it'll be of value to you, even if you are watching this after the fact. But those of you who are here live, thank you so much. And a special thanks to my moderators for helping out with today's live stream. Thank you. If you have a question, use hashtag question. That's so we can be sure to spot your question to me instead of the comments in the live chat to each other. After all, this is a community video where friends check in with lots of comments to one another, which is great. So please, if you have a question for me, start your comment with hashtag question. Welcome to my Saturday edition of the Professor Slots live streams. You know how you put a lot of time and energy into your slots play, but for not nearly enough wins? Yeah, I get it. I'm here to help you change that. If you're trying to accelerate your slots momentum, become more profitable, and win more than ever before, today's live stream will help you move forward with confidence. I have over a decade of experience working with slots enthusiasts just like you, so you're in the right place. Hello, slots enthusiasts. It's great to hang out with you again for another Professor Slots live stream. I have these every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday at noon Eastern to help you improve your slots performance, leave with your winnings, and ultimately change your life for the better. And hopefully I'm going to change your life a little bit today so you can visit your casino and play slots smarter. And sometimes the best way we can do that to change slots enthusiasts' lives for the better is when they enter a business relationship with us. They become a client, they buy our online course, they start getting coaching from us, whatever the case may be, because you have ways to take advantage of your casino, which allows you to impact how much you win and then leave with your winnings. I'm your host, Dr. John Friedel, but please call me John. Earlier this month, I moved over 2,000 miles west to be closer to family. And I have a new primary casino. For those of you just joining, it is right there. That's it, out my window. I can see the casino from my house. I'm a little worried, but I think it's good. Maybe you've moved or will move. Perhaps a new casino opened near you, or maybe you're new to slots gambling. Whatever the case may be, for you, I'll go over my 5 tips to help you acclimate and understand what you're getting. These tips aren't about picking a new casino. Why? Because that's a clear choice. It's usually the nearest one to your home. As you can see, mine is right there. So you could, if it wasn't quite so sunny, you could see it a little bit better. So these tips aren't about choosing a new casino. Instead, you're looking to go to that casino and see if they'll drive you away. They've already got you. And now your job is to check them out and see if they will lose you and force you to leave due to the inconvenience of, and experience the inconvenience of having to go to another casino. With that perspective in mind, let's start with my first tip. Walk the casino. Thank you, Magpie, for the. I just before I start the next the first tip, let's make sure I recognize Magpie for her donation. Thank you, Magpie, so much. Yes, that is a cat that is on my tabletop. Emil, what are you doing? Hey, say hello. Say hello to everybody. Come on, say hello. Okay, don't step on the keyboard. Bad things could happen. All right. Play with the wires, I guess. His name is Emil. He's also known as Saboteur number 1 or Saboteur number 2. I'm not sure. One of my moderators named him that. Okay, I will not worry. I will not worry. But thank you, Magpie, for your donation. It is very much appreciated. Thank you. Okay. Tip number 1. Let's see. Walk the casino. Your first trip to your new primary casino should be to walk around. Get lost. Get found. Check out the spa area if they have one, especially if that's important to you. How much construction do you see? None isn't good, especially if the place looks run down. Casinos go through a lot of wear and tear 24 hours a day, and a little construction shows that they care to keep up with site maintenance. Like evaluating a good restaurant, walk into a restroom. Has it been kept up? If not, that's also not good. There's a lot to see walking around a casino, too much. But best get started now. You'll get to know it better later, but for now, look for landmarks. Are the aisles straight? Are they long but curved? Is the floor plan all mixed up? My new casino, Atlantis, out the window there, is all mixed up. There are only a few rows, most of them short. I hadn't seen that kind of arrangement before. It looks like they're trying to make the casino floor larger than it is. That's not a red flag, but created an awareness in me that Atlantis is a skyscraper with a casino and other important amenities on the first floor. And it's hard to expand a skyscraper's bottom floor, or any other floor for that matter. Walk your new casino. Your circumstances will be different. What are you looking for? I've been to Derby City, Red Mile, and it's curved aisles, which was interesting. And then I've been to Delta Downs before the remodel last year in Louisiana, and it was completely straight. It was almost like laid out in a grid. It was just straight lines everywhere, which implies something. And as you get to know your casino, you'll find out what that means and how that matters. But Atlantis is just it's kind of a mix. So walk your casino, find the high limit room, and see what the entrance to it looks like. Is it easy to find? Does the widest aisle of the casino pass in front of it? How big is that room? Even if you're not a high limit player, look over the high limit room. Looking it over gives you a sense of whether the casino cares. Pardon the analogy, but it's not unlike seeing if the restrooms are messy. If the high limit room is messy, that says a lot about if the casino cares about high limit players, which means if they don't, then it's, what's the difference? If they don't care about high limit players, then they don't care about low limit players. If it's messy, then that indicates they don't, which is all kinds of interesting. Red flag, anyone? My first tip was to walk the casino. My second tip is to look over the gaming regs. You can do that by going to my free, let's see here. Do I have that? I might have that. Not exactly. So if you go to, where are you at? Come back. So you can go to my free state-by-state slots articles. Visit professorslots.com, followed by /, and then your state's 2-letter postal designation. Perhaps a summary of what's going on in your state. It has a summary of what's going on in your state and links to the State Gaming Commission, if any. For example, Nevada and the gaming regs, if you dig into them, Nevada has a gaming regulation 14.040 paragraph 5, which clearly states video poker machines are not slot machines. It's the only U.S. state where I've found that gaming regulation. In Nevada, all video versions of table games must have the unvarying odds of the table game. There's many different games of poker, and each game of poker has its own math. And so each one of those games, if it's has a video version, has that math. Video Keno, poker, roulette, craps, and blackjack use math, not random number generators, to determine the results of your bet. But every state is special, just like every other state. It's like saying you're special, just like everybody else. Make sure you check your gaming regulations, whether it be Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Oklahoma, and any of the others. Find out if your winning is blocked, like in Iowa. It's a quick read and so valuable. Again, Professor Slots followed by a slash and then a 2-letter postal designation like professorslots.com slash NY. So let me share. I'll go to Nevada for you. So where are we at? We are here. Okay. So share and share that way. Okay. Hopefully you're not on a small window. Yes. Emil, do you see a bird or something? Right. So professorslots.com, and then you add a 2-letter postal designation. I'm going to add NV for Nevada, and that's going to come up. Okay. So these articles, there's 56 articles. There's one for every state, territory, and federal district in the United States. If you go to, there's an introduction. Each one has an introduction, relative legal statutes. Some are longer, some are shorter. What the rules are for private ownership of a slot machine, a link to the Gaming Control Board. Later on, I'll have some of the other things that are on the Gaming Control Board. And then there's this whole this whole section on casinos. So I try to put in the top casino, second largest in Nevada, and then there's the commercial casinos, and there's a lot of them. For this article, I go by city, partly by county as well, and so you can see many of them. This is Reno's coming up, 11 casinos in Reno, including Atlantis at the top there. These are links to the casino website. And then if there's tribal casinos, there are 2 in Nevada. People have been asking me about that. And so there's too many casinos to mention here. So I just put in the cities with casinos, not including my grocery store with its slot machines or video poker machines. And then there's border towns, border cities on the border that are pretty interesting. And then there is a Nevada slots Facebook group, Nevada Enthusiast Facebook group, and I have one for every state as well, territory and federal district, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so here's the theoretical payouts and return statistics. Some states don't offer them, and it's a very short statement. But then there's this what's going on here. So these are the sort of things that you might want to take a look at and study and see what's going on. So this is Nevada, its own little thing, and I have multiple videos on that topic. And so I won't repeat those things. If you have a question, if you want to ask me, if you search for it on YouTube, you can also go to professorslots.com. It's a little more searchable. When you search YouTube, it kind of search all of YouTube. And when you search my website, you can search just my website. And that's where you can find some of these articles. Okay. And everybody's saying hello to each other. That's wonderful. So get to know your state. And that's one way to do it. So my first tip was to walk the casino. My second was to look over the gaming regs. My third is to find out the opinions and reputation of your new casino. You can try my 57 Facebook groups and search for your casino name. And I can show you what I can show you is this. So this is professorslots.com/FB. Okay, these are links to each of those 57 groups. There's one that has 18,000 members, over 18,000 members, Professor Slots enthusiasts, and the rest are state by state. And a lot of people are joining the Professor Slots enthusiasts, and we're only maybe a couple hundred or a couple thousand are joining the individual state by state groups. I've had these for a couple of years, and so they're very searchable. I cannot show them to you because I promised to be private about that. Check what they've posted in the past. Joining is private, so I can't show you but you can freely join there by applying by clicking on those links, be taking the Facebook and joining, and I'll let you in after the live stream. Check what they've posted in the past. Get into a conversation with locals. Ask questions. But that's just my resource for you. Other sites offer reviews. Yelp is a great service, but TripAdvisor can reportedly suppress negative reviews. So be aware of that. As my good friend Paula tells me, my moderator tells me, when I complain about stuff like that, she's like, "You've met the internet, right?" And I'm kind of sheepishly like, "Yeah, yeah, okay." My first tip was to walk the casino. The second was the gaming regs. Third was online reviews. And tip number 4 is to check out the Players Club program. Joining a casino program is a financial investment. It is, is it a small program or large? It really does depend what you want. Each has advantages. Small is personal, almost intimate, while large is corporate, but perhaps having casino trips to sister properties and other considerations. And tip number 5 is to look for your casino's competitors. High-level questions are, does it have any? Atlantis Reno has 10 competitors nearby, but Hard Rock Tampa's nearest competitor is a 2-hour drive away. Casino competition is good for players. You want casinos to fight over getting your attention and money. The alternative is not so good. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. Where are you at? Come here, you. And you also get 3 free valuable bonuses plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. Okay, so how this works is I will pick a topic and talk about it for the first part of the live stream. Then I'll look for your questions, and I will take questions for, I can go for like 2 hours before my voice gives out, and sometimes we have, but normally it's maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see. Time flies. So I'm going to check for your questions. And if you have any, please use #question in front of yours. So let's dig into this. And Texas Tootsie, one of my moderators, says, looking forward to this live stream since I'm going to a new Horseshoe when it opens in December. I believe that's the one in Louisiana that's opening, was formerly Isle of Capri. I think that's if I remember correctly. And TU says hi, and I'm hi to you. And let's see here. Happy Saturday. My moderator Paula says, happy Saturday, everybody. And Doug, hey Doug, good to see you. Doug is in Missouri. Welcome. And David is here. Good morning from Salem. Good morning. Right. So let's see. And yeah, right. Camilla makes a good point. Her casinos will be new because of being away for a year. You're in Canada, and there's been a lot of closings or being able to get across the border to the U.S. side of the casinos. So it's just been away for a while. So what we noticed with our casinos closing and then opening, but 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, but then we went back, not necessarily right away, and all the plexiglass and all the, remember that time when there was a lot of plexiglass and cleaning and masks on everybody, hopefully, and we saw that the casinos had taken those 1, 2, 3 months of being closed and made some renovations, made some changes. And we've seen since then that the slot machine manufacturers never stopped working. I mean, yes, the manufacturing was reduced, which was fine because the casinos were closed and, not necessarily buying them. but they were kept on working on games, kept on working on features, kept on working on the technology side of things, because that's all work from home. And so uh, that those products came out in a rush after the pandemic. So, Camilla, you'll be seeing a lot of changes, and good luck processing this. Yeah, I would treat them as all new. Yeah, yeah. Uh, if any, hello from Michigan. Hey, I'm from Michigan. Uh, See, I'm using my map. It's my map's right. So that's that. Anyway, it's a Michigan joke. Yeah, good morning from Firekeepers. Hey to you. Yep, yep, yep. Firekeepers in Southwest Michigan. More Michigan people, as well as my moderator, Texas Tootsie, who's from Michigan. My originally Paula, who is in Michigan. Oh yes, and waves, yeah, that's nice. See, there's lots of conversation in this community video. Serenity says, good morning from Seattle. Hey, I'm so much more closer to you now. And Terry has a question. So Terry has a question. After you figure out the percentage of a slot, what is considered a high number as a bad percentage? So what you're looking for is a relative difference. If you can figure out the percentage, if you can find another one which is 2.5% better, this is kind of a calibration sort of question. How much more does it need to be truly better? And it's 2.5%. 2.5% is the difference between the best casino you've ever been to and the worst casino you've ever been to, the best slot machine you've ever played and the worst slot machine you've ever played. It's the difference between the average return in Nevada and the average return in Indiana. 93, 92, 92.7 in Nevada and 90 in Indiana. And, top of the scale, bottom of the scale. So if you can find something that is 95, 97, and other machines which are 93, 95, then play the 95, 97 machines. Yeah. It's important to know what you look for. Now that every casino, sorry, there's a kitty sighting. Yes, so it's important to know what good means. Yeah, yeah. There you go. And Susan says, question: I just received my November offer. Okay, $50 free play per day, plus $100 per week. If I use the daily free play and stick to my 1 to 2 trips weekly using my dollars, will that hurt my future offers? Is that plan that you have different? I mean, some players clubs are generous, and some players clubs make you pay to get your offers. So how different is doing that? What you're planning, you stick to your 1 to 2 trips weekly using your dollars. Yes, I live near an airport. Okay, all right. I have not expected that to happen before. Usually they go the other direction. Perhaps it's a military aircraft. Apologies for the little bit of noise in the background. So is what you're planning to spend less than what you spent to get your offer? There are advantages to free play. Maybe they'll land outside, and there are advantages to getting it. Will it hurt? It depends on how hard was it to accomplish those offers, and recognize that it isn't necessarily you. Yes, there's a average daily theoretical or Theo or ADT, and that can matter, but it's it's November, and November is a top gambling season, and so there's encouragement to try to get everybody to go to the casino. So it might be the same offer in December because it's also December, and November and December are the top gambling months of the gambling season of the year. And January, February, middle to the middle of March or so is not. So you will likely see, despite the money that you spent, not a lot going on for your January offer. So this is all business. We like to say it's an equation, and it sort of is, but there are exceptions to the equation where, like, during the pandemic, everybody wanted to, the casinos wanted to get everybody to go back. And so they spent money doing that, or they chose not to, as you can see in some of the return statistics, like for Florida, they're just, free play just bottomed out. There was none. And that was pretty spectacular that they would do that sort of thing. But we're kind of, past the exceptional stuff now. And we're just into the whole normal, great November celebration by the casinos. Come back in, enjoy yourself, spend money, and including free play. So yeah, that is, I would be interested in knowing if you spent a lot of money to get that free offer, or if it was, I suspect, more the November sort of offer that a lot of people are getting. And I suspect that December won't be much different, because it's not really about how much you spent, but that you did go and spend a little. And so therefore you're going to, get free play in December. But then January, it should shut down no matter what you do in November and December, because it's just, they're going to cut that off. Okay. My moderator is tough. So start with hashtag question. Please, thank you. Becky, I live in Washington. I've had a couple of paid consultations with people in Washington, and I have an article that I should probably share with you on my website. And there's a special method. Every state is special, including the state of Washington, which is super special. And yes, okay, your question. Becky asks, I live in Washington, and you've said the slots here are different than anywhere else. Half of them are. The Class 3 machines are different than anywhere else. The Class 2 machines are the same as what you would find at those other locations that have them. Not everybody has the Class 2 bingo style slots. Every tribal casino could have them, but a lot of tribal casinos say no. The most number of Class 2 machines are in Oklahoma, where it's like 45%, with 55% being the Class 3 machines, their Class 3 machines. So even there, not every casino has it, but they do have a lot of them. And there's a few in Wisconsin and a few of the other tribal casinos, but you can go to a tribal casino and find none. I went to Coshada in Louisiana, and there was none that I could spot anywhere, and it should be pretty obvious. Anyway, yes, they are different. If so, do all your rules still apply, or are there any that don't work out here? I live 2 blocks from Muckleshoot. Muckleshoot. Yes. So the 5-spin method works because it's a built-in. I didn't tell anybody when I explained the 5-spin method. It has a built-in loss limit and a built-in preserving gain. Perhaps it wouldn't have been as popular if I had mentioned it. It just, if you follow the rules, then it is. And that has worked fairly well in Washington, because you are not spending as much and you're able to walk away. And so that 5-spin method, even without taste, is a very useful thing to have. But let me share the other, because it gets to be a little bit detailed. So I will go to Professor Slots here. And we will go to strategies. Can you see my screen? Strategies. Then I'll click on that. So there's my tough luck method. And the second one here is a strategic plan to win on Washington's unique slots. What makes them unique? It is scratch tickets. So the class 3 machines are unlike any other states. And I don't want to go into a long detail because there's this whole explanation here. Put that away. And there's two types of straight lotteries. Ohio and other states have a lottery based on the draw ticket lottery. Nobody won the Mega Millions. I don't mean to get distracted by the news, but there's draw tickets, like all the news lately about not being won and getting to be quite huge. But there's also scratch tickets, and scratch tickets are what the state of Washington has chosen to use, and these are virtual. They're electronic. And it's not physical, you use a coin, nothing like that, but it is a scratch ticket lottery. And so there's rules for these scratch ticket lotteries, and I go through what those rules are. You can find them in the compacts. Washington has only tribal casinos. This, for everybody else, this is an example of just how different your state is. And if you move and then, or you haven't even looked at what the rules are, there are advantages and also some disadvantages, some cautions and some things to try. So Becky, you're asking the exactly right question. And so I wrote all this up for you. And I showed you how to find it. So there's batches, there's sub batches. What does the state rules say about each? And what can I figure out? What did I figure out about them? So then this is how to win, and then how to optimize that winning. So perhaps I should have said more often that, my winning slot strategies are for class 3 slots. The 5-spin method is useful for class 2 slots and also class 3 slots in the state of Washington. But the state of Washington has scratch ticket lotteries, and the casino isn't in charge. The key point here isn't about scratch tickets on class 3 machines. It's about how the lottery controls them, not that they're connected to the lottery. In the state of Ohio, the lottery controls what's going on, but they're responsible, but they don't control what's going on. They let the casinos have all kinds of say, and that is a relationship. But there's some relationships with the state lottery which are much more on the side of the state lottery. Illinois has lottery machines in bars and taverns, and the bars and taverns have no say whatsoever. If the state budget is sinking, people don't win because the state lottery is helping out with the state budget. In Ohio, it's a much more of a relationship between casinos. In Rhode Island, it's in control of the state lottery, and offsite, nobody from the casino is really involved. And it's like that with the state of Washington. The state lottery is not involved. The casinos are not involved with what the state lottery offers. And so, you need to look into this for each of your states. So this is a lesson for everybody. And Mika is in the house. Right. So questions from Mike. Thank you, Paula. Yes, I will get to things. So anybody who asks a question, I have been wanting to mention this. Anybody who asks a question, I will work on answering it. Sometimes it's been like the last second between pressing the stop button and all that, and I'm like, oh, that came in at the last second, and so that one might not get answered until the next time. I have a collection of questions that I get it from emails, comments, and also from the end of these. Anyway, I make a video with a 60-second or less answer. I call it my Slots IQ, the Slots Q&A library. And every day I post an answer to one of your questions. So if you ask a question, you can expect to see it. Now I'm like 4 months behind, but every day I put out a couple hundred of them so far, and some of them are from you, particularly if you're a regular. But all your questions will be answered succinctly with thought behind them instead of like off the cuff. Eventually. So Mark has a question. Have you decided to determine the 5-spin is very obvious after testing 8 machines? Yesterday I tested 6 machines and said, wow, it's obvious that the 5-spin is working early afternoon. Yes. I have made quick judgments on the 5-spin method. The rules that I give are to say test 20 machines because I don't know what other people are going to encounter, and 20 machines is kind of thorough. Now, I have gone to MGM Detroit and MGM Grand Detroit, and I did 8 machines, and it was really obvious they didn't have it, like really obvious. And I'm like, why would I even bother? So what you are seeing is true, that the 5-spin can be really obvious, but I've also gone places where it was really obvious it did not exist. And save your money, try something else. So yeah, good for you. Good for you. I'm so glad for you. And good luck getting out of the casino with your money. That's what the course is for. Key says, do casinos post their hand-paid jackpots on their website? If not, can that information be found anywhere? Not without stealing it. If you know somebody who's an accountant, like I do, within the casino, you could ask for it, and if they care to get arrested, then they might give it to you. It is not something that is shared, except for Kashada. So if you go to the Kashada website, they will share. It's only it's only available on the mobile version, and they share the last 4 weeks. And that's the only place I found it in the country. Yeah. It's like we wish that everybody would have return statistics that they'd give to the State Gaming Commission and then post it for us. And then we were like, well, could you break it down by slot machine denomination? Oh, and while you're at it, could you break it down for progressive machines versus non-progressive machines? Could Mississippi return statistics be could everybody do what, even Nevada, could they do what Mississippi does? And we can wish all we want, but unless one of you becomes the state gaming commissioner, are you working on it? Please do. And, we can ask, and we can get involved with the local, get elected, KA says, okay, Paula says, I'm getting all the mentions today, and I laughed because I was like, I'll mention her again today. Thank you, Paula, for all you do. KA says, questions, do older slot machines have better odds than newer machines? This is a bit of a complex thing. If the newer machines are leased and the contract with the slot machine manufacturer says, we want it put in a prominent area and we want it to have these odds within the legal limits of the state, and that's what are contractually going to have, then it can be. I mean, they might have that in the contract. So new machines might have that. On the other hand, if you are playing the new Brian Christopher themed slot machine, there's one based on a movie that came out or recently that has licensing fees, and somebody has to pay those licensing fees, and the slot machine manufacturers and the casinos are like, I think we both agree it's going to be you. So newer machines come in a couple of different varieties. The older machines are usually purchased. They might have been leased once, but then they decide to keep them, and they're purchased, and all that contractual obligation is gone. So they are what they are. You can usually tell if it has better odds on the older machines. If it's in the back room if it's in the back against the wall, if it's kind of like put out of the way. One of the things I wanted to talk about in the future was the quiet, um, doing away with why nobody's talking about the older slot machines and what's, the physical real machines that are going away. Pretty soon, we're going to have older slot machines, which are video machines, where the video display is like not as good, lower resolution, older video machines. And there is some of that with the small screen video machines. Yeah. uh, and Kino Kev is in the house, next stop Atlantis. Thank you for all your emails and for your sharing that Atlantis is your second home. This goes along with uh, the topic for today, which is to learn more about your reputation of Atlantis. Look at the reviews, talk to people who like Kevin have made it their second home, like KS has made it their second home, and see what they have to say, and learn from that. Learn from a bunch of different people. Minka says Shreveport, Bossier City has 6 casinos in close proximity. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. I always think of Biloxi as having 9. Margaritaville, Horseshoe, Bollies, Sam's something, Boomtown, and Louisiana Downs. Okay. And yes, okay. Which is great. You have competition. Competition is good for you. Yeah. KS has made a few hints about trying to figure out where I am. So if I talk about an airplane flying over me, he looks out the window and says, "You're over there." And you're welcome, Becky. We were talking about the state of Washington slots and their uniqueness, and I have an article on that. So I was happy to share that with you. Yeah. Jody, hi Jody. It's been a while. Just wanted to say hi, PS, and hope you have a great weekend and go Michigan State. Oh, don't you mean go blue? As I like to tell the Michigan State fans and also the Ohio State fans, I graduated from the University of Michigan. I graduated from the University of Michigan twice. Let's see, questions back and forth. Good. Questions to me. Susan, I'm just shy of top tier at Firekeepers. Hey, that's a good instinct. Be safe. Yeah. Just shy of top tier. Oh, sorry, you're not shy. You're not quite top tier. Sorry, I misunderstood. You're not quite top tier at Firekeepers. Good at cycling my bankroll with a few hand pays thrown in to keep it going. Yeah. Do all casinos reset player points early every 6 months? Why would they? Some do. It used to be a year. And it used to be like starting in like Caesar's Rewards once was a few years ago. They would restart in, what was it, like March. They would give you until the end of March to make points for that prior year to get the status for the current year. And then you would start working on the points that needed, and you would have until the following March. So it was more of like March to March instead of a calendar year. And of course, a lot of things changed with the pandemic. Even before the pandemic, the point systems, how much money did it take to earn a point on the reward point or the dollar point or etc. All that got changed. It's just, now they're like, well, it depends on how long you play, how many points you get, and it's just confusion. Not everybody has 6-month cycles. Not everybody has the same 6-month cycles. It might be from when you joined, and others are I think it's MGM that says you will always be this tier, but then there's other details in it about what do you get for being in that tier, which are a little more adjustable. So mostly it's just a matter of seeing what you've got, check occasionally, and see what's changed. MGM changed at the beginning of this year. I found out, or rather December last year, I found out when I went to MGM Grand Detroit that they had changed their points, but nobody seemed to know what points they went to. But the slot attendants, I got a little crowd of slot attendants around me at the time, and they were like, well, I think it's this and I think it's that, and no, we have one person who knows. We'll try to reach her, and well, she's not answering right now, so we'll wait a minute and then we'll get a straight answer from the one person in our casino that knows. So that's it's not a ding on MGM Grand Detroit or even a ding on MGM. It is that the change happens, and sometimes the casino employees are last to know, and good luck. I find that the brochure is far more as bad as it is that you get from if they have one at the promotions counter, is better than anybody you could talk to. But then it can get out of date. The website, they don't. How this works is they don't say what the offers are, so that they can change them on a dime. And if it's not in writing, you can't go to it and say, hey, fair market practices, you said in writing that it's going to be this, and you didn't put an expiration date on it, and therefore this is what I'm going to get. I insist. And they recognize that is a law, so they don't put anything in writing. Yeah. Right, questions back and forth, which is great. Thanks, Susan. Jojo, hi. Have a great weekend, and thank you for all you do. Go Michigan State. And wait, did you already say this? Oh, you did it. You said it again. Oh, Jody, yeah, and you said it. Yep. Yes, Paula met me at the University of Michigan when we were students there together. We met in a fantasy literature English class, although that perhaps is too much detail. We were talking the other day. Was it like 35 years ago? No. Yes, that's right. I said it was like 35 years ago, back when I was 4. Magpie says it's beautiful in Southern California. I love the fall season. So one of the questions I'll have, I'm so much closer to the California tribal casinos. If anybody has a recommendation on which California casino I should go to, I would appreciate that. Let's see, question from David. No spaces. Have heard that they are going to put a new casino in Salem, Oregon. Have you heard anything about that, and when the target date for opening is? Usually these openings are really soft. Let me go check if I have anything. So I have an article, of course, on where are you at? And so again, for everybody who may have missed it, let's take a look at that, and I'll go professorslots.com/OR. And there's Oregon. So let's see. Bars and Taverns also has 9 tribal casinos. So you must be talking about a tribal casino, right? And let's see. Largest is Spring Mountain. Second largest is Wild Horse Resort. Retailers also, new casinos. Usually I put a note in here if it's something that's going to be coming out. No, I did not report on this. Did not report on anything like this. So again, this is an example. You can go online or you can check on the machine to find out what the payout percentages are on that machine, on that game. But they do have a maximum theoretical payout, 96%, which hurts. Right. No, I don't have any notes on it. And I will make a note to myself that they may be getting a new casino. Since they only have tribal casinos, I assume they have another tribal casinos. One thing I noted in my report just now was that only, what was it? One of the tribal casinos did not have a gaming compact. 8 out of Oregon's 9 federally recognized tribes have negotiated a compact. Maybe that one remaining tribe has negotiated a compact, in which case, yeah. So there is a big game tonight. Awesome. And so TU says, well, is saying hello, but have a cabin down the road from Firekeepers, and there that week. Yeah. Al says, what is the C-class machine at home? Any different types? Order question. Thank you. What could you fix that sentence, Al? What is the C-class machine at home? Any different types? I don't know what you're saying. Perhaps you can retype it, and what state are you in? What's the rules for your state? We can check. Sorry, I don't understand what you're asking. Camilla, question. There seems to be many enhanced versions of older slot machine themes coming out. Are they replacing jackpots with fancy visuals and other features? Well, it's like the superhero movies. The studio executives like that it came out as a comic and they can understand the comic. They can understand the public reaction. And it's not kind of like, let's do something that's never been done before and we'll hope for the best. And they like their past data. They like their past results. They like understanding that, and it gives them some assurance of success. And so the older versions of slot machine themes are, make a new version. Put all the new technology into it. I think somebody was talking about Top Dollar recently. It's a way for them to be reassured, for the slot machine manufacturers and the casinos they serve, to be reassured that it's going to work. And why not? That's a reasonable assumption many industries use. So yeah. Now, you also asked, are they replacing jackpots with more fancy visuals and other features? That is one of the trends that we're seeing lately, that let's just throw in a bunch of bonuses and then we will make, and people seem to be pleased with getting a bonus only, not money. And by not getting the money, just give them the fun and we'll keep the money. And that's it. Yeah. Let's see. Terry, you had a question? More than one? I only saw, let me slide through all these and check. Terry has said, why did I skip his second and third question? And there's one. That's the one I answered. And there is no others. Sorry, Terry. You only in the live chat. You can check for yourself. You can slide up in the live chat and you can check for yourself. You have only asked one question. Well, your second one is, why did you skip my second question and last question? You didn't enter them. None have appeared. Jan has a question, a little off topic. If there is an accounting reset, would it be canceled due to Halloween to November 1st being the new month? So the question is a good one. I would say not so much. A lot of businesses prefer quarters. The end of, what is it? End of September, the end of December, the last day of December, January 1st, and not so much the end of the month. Yes, there can be some monthly things, but working on a quarterly basis is a lot more important. Also, the end of the fiscal year, which might not be December 31st, but rather like September 30th. And so, from a fiscal business point of view, what are the timeframes? But yeah, there could be a minor thing about the end of the month. It's kind of, and so what you're implying, what you're asking about, and which is a great question, implications here. You only have 200 characters to write the words, so I appreciate this. Oh, Paula, don't tell people. Okay, if there's a counter and resense, does a casino celebrate Halloween? And you're asking a very good question. Would a casino ever celebrate a Halloween? I mean, they do have their New Year's Eve celebrations. So they are known to every year have an end the last day of a month being a big celebration, and Halloween is never going to be as big as that. So I don't think it would be canceled. On the other hand, would anybody go on Halloween night? Is it a typical time to go to the casino? And what you can do is you can check your casino, and for Valentine's Day and other days, it's more of a, have they set themselves up to have like hearts everywhere or not? And that's kind of the day of. But Halloween is different. It can be set up like it's earlier and earlier every year, and would they prefer to not set up for Halloween because they're going to set up for Christmas in October? So if they've set up for Halloween, then it's probably going to be a big day, and it's not going to be a day of. More than likely, it's going to be a couple of days beforehand. So even like now, if you've noticed, they've had Halloween decorations all over the place, and that probably means it's going to be a celebration. If they don't, it's not going to be a celebration, and that's probably a better indicator. Because, but to answer your question, the last day of December, New Year's Eve, a lot of them celebrate that, and that has the same thing you're talking about. Yeah. How many times, Flip says, how many times would you use the deja vu strategy if it works well at a casino? Okay, I thought about 1 week later, and that would be 3 times. I'm going to get up early in the morning to check 3 times, and it may be a long time between. It's also something I do for the morning after 3 times. And so how many times would you use the deja vu strategy to confirm how it works well at a casino? So there's, you go to the casino, just to explain, and you see somebody win, or you win yourself. And then you come back a week later and play that machine 5 minutes earlier, play through that time. You probably would do it a bunch of times because it might be your favorite machine. You were playing in the first place without the deja vu strategy to get that first win. And so that might be your machine. So this is an interesting question. I think I'm going to go with 3 times. But please understand that, you know, I don't see a win and then come back a week later, 5 minutes earlier. I see 5 wins. I see 10 wins. I see a bunch of wins. You know, I've known people who've gotten 15 hand pays, you know, in on a day. Well, all of those are, you know, come back a week later. And so it's not generally tested once. I would say 3 trips of the deja vu strategy, um, uh, three trips back with however many wins you're checking for that first trip that you saw or had on that first trip. So I would say 3 trips, but not so much times, because it could be like 15 jackpots that you're checking on that one trip. Okay. Jojo, question. I didn't see my original post show up in a few minutes as I posted it again. I also love your new view. Did your house sale go through? Are you now in Reno? Congrats on your move. I am in Reno. The house is being showed. I've never even heard of, you know, I don't know much about selling a home, but never even heard uh, 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 about having this many showings. I think it's been 9 days. Thursday last week, it went up for sale in the afternoon. So yeah, 9 days, and a little bit short of that, and must have like 35 showings scheduled, and 2 offers so far. The one offer that I accepted was almost hours later was turned down for no, they didn't get any further information. They just backed out. We did ask them to confirm that they had the cash for the cash sale, which is you have to do, and I guess they were offended or something. I don't know. It's like, what the heck? So my realtor said, well, moving on. Yeah, yes, so that's where it's going. Yeah, I love you should see it at night. You can see that. Hey, look, you can see Atlantis Casino like really well. Let's see this way, right there, Atlantis Casino. But I'll block it with my head. And so Terry, others have said that they didn't see your question. So I don't know what happened there. Oh, Terry, I have special words that I block. It's partly a legal requirement. It may be that you used words that I don't allow to be shown, in which case I might see your question later. I'll have to approve it. We get a lot of, not a lot anymore, because I've made some changes where people will uh, uh, come in and be like XXX stuff. And there's a few words that they like to use. They realize the primary words are blocked. So some of the secondary words they're using are blocked. So, you know, you might have asked a question. You probably did ask a question, but I've got to go through the process of finding it and approving it because it had a keyword, a particular word that didn't go through. Sorry. I will check and make any adjustments if possible. So Susan is talking to Jojo. That's good. Homer has a question. John, what do you think about I was only 40 points away from the next tier level. Next day was further away. They couldn't explain out of the blue. Oh, you've been upgraded next tier level. Wow. Where, how does that work? Did they miscalculate and adjust to correct the adjustment? Or wow, that is I will watch for that. I usually, if I'm going to go past the tier level, I usually blow past it. But to be 40 points away, check the next day, and you're further away. What the heck? That's amazing. Um, uh, I'm so sorry, man. That's something. Um, I have not heard of that. Wow. Uh, uh, Jan, Texas Tootsie asks the question: is there a way to find out a soft opening date for a casino? You have to be invited. So talk to your friends who are top tier and say, plus one, anybody? And yeah, that's how you get in. It's a comp uh, offered to certain people, and usually it's you and plus one. So that's how you get in. Yeah. You might be able, maybe if you have a host, call and ask the host. I know you like making a call. My sister's like that. Well, don't make her write her letter, and you can ask, see what happens. Flip says, does the casino have the capability to change the odds of one slot machine at will outside the previously planned schedule, and would they? So they do, but there's a problem with that, which is sometimes they have to inform the State Gaming Commission, and with the schedule, that's all part of the process. Not every state has that requirement. The other problem is, change it to what? Because they won't know for hours after that, kind of how is it going? Should we raise it or should we lower it? We're off the schedule. And so they don't know what to do, what's the right thing to do for their very important finances. Now, you might say on an emergency basis, and I would still say no. If there's an emergency where somebody wins big and somebody's winning a lot, they turn off the machine. They put an out of order machine picture, image on it. They put an out of order sign on it. That's the easiest thing. Shut it down, because if they were going to change it, they have a real problem with not knowing what to change it to. And it's just easier to just take it out of the equation, check it out later, off. Because if it's doing something that's causing them to want to do something outside of the schedule, then it could be a error, it could be a maintenance issue, and they have to consider that possibility. So I would say they would just shut it down. Yeah, power out. And people have talked about that. People have commented to me about, I was winning and I came over and put an out order sign on it. Easy. Yeah. You don't even have to call the guy who makes these changes on the central computer. And the problems, as I was saying, with doing the where are you at, with just handling all that. Right. So as Camilla says, hit the like button, and yeah. And Flip says, how significant is determining the goodness ratio of a slot machine before playing it? And could you give an example to better understand why it is or isn't? So if you are looking, it's fairly straightforward. I have a picture. Let's see, I can give an example. I gave an example, and let's see. Is that something I'm going to be able to just pull up quickly? That's something I can do, I believe. Let me go dig it out and show you that example in one of my published articles. So where is the goodness ratio? Assessing, choosing, I think it's going to be this one. So let me double check this. Yeah, okay. And maybe do the full version of that. Okay, so let me share this and bring it up. So here are 3 slot machines, physical real slot machines. Let me bring that over to there. Okay. Yeah, bigger. And if you go with the 2 credit number here, 15,000 is the top jackpot. The goodness ratio is a way to evaluate whether or not you're going to win anything substantial, if you win anything. If you win on it, and it's measly winnings where it can't be anything more than that, that's just tough. And that's not a good machine. That's what you're asking about goodness ratio. So this is 2 machines side by side, 3 actually, but we'll do these 2. 15,000 credits, top jackpot for 2 credit win. So that's $7,500 and at 25 cents. Well, they're both 25 cents, so I'll make it 7,500 for this machine. And this is 3 credits, and this is 2,000. So 6,000 divided by 3 credits would be 2,000. And so you have 7,500 and 2,000, the difference between the goodness ratio. And so this first machine is preferred nearly 3 times as much by over 4 times as much, nearly 4 times as much over this middle machine based on the goodness ratio, because anything you win on this machine is going to be 1/4 of what you would have won if you'd played the other machine. That's kind of the goodness ratio. So that's the example. And now the problem with the goodness ratio is all this is easily viewable on a physical real machine. But if you go to the video slot machines, which we all have and more all the time, then you have to dig through like 8 or 10 gameplay rules to find it. It's not like you can just walk by and say, dum, 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 that one. And now, with the video screens and the usually nonsensical game rules and all capital letters, right and left justified, written by marketing people, it's just so much harder to use the goodness ratio that it becomes something people don't use anymore. And so it's kind of a physical real thing. But I did answer your questions. Yeah, there's a couple possibilities, Terry. We're all kind of like hoping that it might be one thing or another. So lots of comments back and forth. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. It is, Paula, it is interesting to find out what their fiscal year is and if it impacts your winning or play on that day. We have, so I've been, if you look at the live, stream, you can see that, like, for instance, Magpie 11 has a little plus, 12 plus next to her name. So I've been doing, she's a member and has been following me for 12 months. Well, it's when I offered the membership on YouTube, and she became a member, and when it clicks over, JoJo is at 2 plus, and you can see how long people have been. But Magpie 11, she has 12 months of following me. And one of the things, and before that, she's been around much longer than that, but just trying to show you proof, she has been keeping gambling records. And she's been noticing some interesting things about end of month, beginning of month, middle of month, and I haven't asked her yet about fiscal year. So yeah. Laura, we like to go to Biloxi. We live in Alabama. I always think I'm going to try your 5-spin method, but I always end up playing the same way I usually do. But thanks for the tips. So I will tell you right now that if you win, you'll do the thing that you usually do. I hope that you usually keep your winnings, but I suspect maybe, well, you do what you usually do. So it is hard to get out of a multi-year rut. We do what we usually do. Yeah. Magpie, speaking of Magpie 11, a question. If there is a casino gambling initiative on the ballot, like in California, do you think casinos would turn up jackpots to entice patrons to vote for the casino? Um, hmm. This has happened in a sense. For Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun, they knew that MGM Springfield was going to come in just across the border in Massachusetts, up from Connecticut, and they started letting their players win when the news was announced that they were going to build an MGM Springfield, that it got approved. And so I would say a bit too late right now. I would say, have they been doing it since it went on the ballot? Has it been going on for 6 months? It's going to be, if you get people to feel good about casinos, you spend months doing it, and prove yourself to them. And that's what I've seen with casinos are well aware of what's going on, very well, better than us, and we're just trying to keep up. And I would say it's long since been working, and you would have noticed, back in June, July, if not last year. Depends on kind of like when the news came out that it would be on the ballot and when the casinos would find out about it. Also, the gambling initiative, sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't like it. And, what do they do if they're like, let's not do that? Or, if it's, promoting it. If they're promoting it, then that's, they got it on the ballot, then that's something else entirely. That's that, they definitely would want it. Yeah. But I think it would have been, this is too short notice right now, months ago, if not a year. That's what we're looking at here. Yeah. Whole campaign. Yeah. Steve says, last night, my local casino person playing a end machine for about 5 minutes and left. I finished my play on my machine and went to it and played max for 2-cent bingo, 1 first spin bonus, idle, 2 minutes. Good. Although, be aware that end of row machines on class 2 bingo machines, probably just luck based, because a bingo machine has different rules. And that maybe it was to the end of the game of the bingo game, and that's when people win more and better, and that might have been what was going on. So KS, masks at Halloween are generally banned in casinos, but 2 years ago they were required. Only certain kinds of masks. Yes. No shirt, no shoes, no face, no service. Yeah, I remember that. I know it's like, well, back in the day, I don't mean to be like that, but I remember going into my convenience store wearing a mask, and I'm like, I never really expected to go into a convenience store wearing a mask before. Peckleball, hello to you. Steve, will you be doing the deja vu method when you venture out to your local casino and give field reports? Well, that's the sort of thing that I can do. So when I was in Ohio, and the casinos were 30 minutes away minimum, I knew which casinos, because I learned them, had the deja vu method to come back a week later, because I could come back a week later. But when I go out to my new to me casinos and do a report, MGM Detroit or Louisiana, Delta Downs in Louisiana, or wherever I go, I'm usually not there. I'm never there for a full week, and I'm or more, and I'm not usually there a week later. So I have 11 casinos outside the window. We can see this way. Atlantis right there. I can be there a week later. But on the other hand, that means I have to, when I do a report, I do trip reports, I have to come back a week later, and that's delays putting out the report. So, and a lot of people are like traveling to Reno, and when they go to Reno, they're not there for a week. So what you're talking about isn't necessarily valuable to them. Yeah. So I would say that I will learn my local casinos, with my primary being Atlantis, my secondary being Peppermill. All the others, would I even go? Well, to do a report, but would I go back a week later? Yeah, sorry. It's easy enough to try. Yeah. John, we want you to go to every casino in the United States and then go back a week later. But you should come back the week after that and the week after that if you're going to check it 3 times. I'm like, what? uh, Homer, yes. It's great that you have a report. So Homer was saying that he had a certain number of points to get to the next tier level, and then he checked the next day, it was like 40 points, and the next day it was more. And that you took screenshots and having evidence, that's great. If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. And, they are in charge. So I hope that you don't burn any bridges. Watch the outrage, and don't get tossed out. That would be tough. Yeah. Minka says, you said last week, don't overreact when you hit a jackpot. My mother worked in casino security and always told me the casino loves people getting excited. It stimulates more play. Yes, it gets attention. Overreacting gets attention. Yes. What you're explaining is the highly visible machines method. People win, but the casino wants them to be seen to win, and they want them to overreact. So it's not like the casinos don't know what they're doing. They're pretty good at their jobs. I'm just saying, you want to stay under the radar if you're winning a lot, so that it tries to be less noticeable. Yeah. Bonnie says, question, after winning $9,800, the whole bank of machines went down later with host server communications error. Was this on purpose? Possibly. I was at, where was it? Indiana Grand, which was now Indianapolis, Horseshoe in Indianapolis. And I went there, and 15% of the machines were broken. I mean, sure, some of them were like smashed, and others were just like out of order on them. And when is there another helicopter going? Yeah, there's another helicopter out there. I read, it didn't say out of order. It was a worksheet saying what was wrong. And I went through each one of them on a bunch of them, took some pictures, was supposed to do that, but I can't share it publicly, but I read them closely, and some of them said communication error, CPU error, fan broken. They do a quick diagnostics on the screen, and which points to the error, and that's what you get. And now, if you won $98 to $100, that could be an error in the machine. Did they pay it? Because one of the things that the slot attendant does when they check the win is, in some states will say this on the machine, if an error, jackpot is invalid. I mean, it's not a good reputation thing. They get hurt by that. But if you won this, they did give it to you. That's a sign that it wasn't a fault for that. And if it happened after, it may have just been, this is spinning it. This question is from Facebook. They're spinning it why wouldn't they do that? Would they say, put a dig in their reputation for that? Not so much. And that's kind of like, I think your suspicions are correct that it was on purpose. Although it is possible to be if you're at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, there's a lot of machines that are broken. Yeah. And so there's a question, but it's not to me, it's to Homer. And that's okay. Okay, Terry, now I see your question. I asked my question without any bank. Okay, so you took this opportunity to not ask your question. Okay. All right. I don't know why I'm not receiving your question either. I will dig into it. Perhaps you are, let's see, can I dig into it now? I don't want to take everybody's time doing it. Let me just very quickly do something and see if I can help you, and go to where I would find any such comment and see if it was held for review. No, I'm sorry, Terry. It is not held for review. I don't know where it is. And now you have a question. Seems to be working. Terry, if one machine odds add up to 500 and another machine adds up to 10,000, which is the better odds, $5,000 or $10,000? So if you're talking about the goodness ratio, you have to make sure you divide it by the number of credits. And if you're talking about the different denominations between the two, then you have to factor out the different denominations for each two. I wrote about this five years ago or so. So you don't have enough information here. Also, this sounds like you're talking about another slots channel that I am every live stream that I have, I'm asked to explain what the heck they were talking about. And I'm not their mother. So who knows what they're talking about? I don't follow them, and so it's not my responsibility to clean up their messes. Yeah, you can ask them. I understand that the questions you have to pay to ask a question, but wherever you're finding this at, go ask them. Steve, I thought my local casino had the deja vu going on after watching 2 weeks in a row, it for over 10 grand, but I tried the last couple of weeks and nothing, so I guess it doesn't work there, right? So Steve, you had mentioned in the past that you were playing a bingo machine. It doesn't work on bingo machines, but your casino also has class 3 machines. So if you're not keeping track of whether you're playing a class 3 machine where it does work and a class 2 machine where it can work and a class 2 machine where it doesn't work, then that's what's going on. It's like two different systems, and that's something that you need to check out. If it did work, then it did work. If it went under new ownership, which I don't believe it would, because you are in Wisconsin, right? And it's tribal casinos, and they don't generally go under new ownership. If they have it, they have it. Yeah. Bo says, question, when the casino changes the money boxes, are the machines reset at the same time, or is the reset more random? So there's a bunch of different resets. They're what I call stackable. And that is one of them, simply because the machine is not being played. And that alone is a reset. They don't have to actually do anything more than remove the money boxes in order for it to be a reset. And also, if they do anything more than just remove the money boxes, it takes a lot longer to remove all the money boxes on all the other machines, because they're also pushing buttons and setting setups and doing other stuff, and it can take a lot longer. Otherwise, they can sort of disguise that they've changed some things on machines, but usually that wouldn't be anywhere other than riverboat casinos because central servers let them do that without interrupting anybody playing the machine. They just change the odds remotely. And so money boxes, you actually have to open up the machine. But I think they want to get that done as quickly as possible because that's, get people back to spending money. And so in and out, get the machines in and out. But that is still going to be a reset because it's a time spent. Nobody's playing while the machine boxes are being pulled out. So there is no such thing as a C-class machine unless you're talking about a brand. There's only Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. It's based on a federal law. Class 1 is actually tribal ceremonies. Class 2 is skill-based games, usually bingo, but it can be pull tabs. Class 3 is games of chance. What a casino will do if the gaming regulations require it, or if the compact states it, they will have a limit on how many machines they can have that are Class 3, because the compact is about Class 3. But the Class 2 machines are not something they have to report. So I always find it very difficult to know whether a casino has any Class 2 machines because they don't have to report it. It's not a legal requirement, and you basically have to walk through and see how many of the machines have a bingo card element somewhere on the face of the machine. Yeah. Class C is, if that's a state law, I have not seen anything like a Class C machine. Yeah, that's how that works. Homer says, okay. You don't have to add hashtag question if you're talking to somebody else. If you're talking to me, that's great. And Al says, what class of 1 cent to $1 pays better in Southern California? So again, I don't know what you're talking about with class. If you're asking whether the denomination of 1 cent or $1 pays better, we don't know. 1 cent is 6 U.S. states, 7 now, have return statistics by slot machine denomination. But monthly returns for all their slot machines is 20 U.S. states. California is not one of those, either of those. But we can look at the 6, 7 U.S. states that offer return statistics by slot machine denomination, and we can see that 1 cent is the worst ever, with like an exception 1 month in February at one of the cities in Colorado. And I was shocked, but okay. So it can happen. The rest of the time, no. So your worst odds is 1 cent machines, because that's what happens by all those other states where we don't have return statistics. Okay. And so not the 1 cent machines is something other than 1 cent machines is better. So that works. Oh, Johnny, you didn't add a hashtag question. Also, you are asking a question that is asking me to fix somebody else's video. Do you refer top dollar, 1 line denomination, 1, 10, 20, 25? Do you think the pinball machine $10 denomination with 3 credits per spin is the better choice? So what denomination of the top dollar? This is an interesting question. You're asking about another video from another slots channel, and you're asking the difference between a $10 denomination pinball machine and a $10 denomination top dollar machine, which has the better choice. It's the same denomination. Or are you talking about a $20 denomination, $25 denomination, which would be the better choice? There's a lot going on here. The myth is that the higher the denomination, the better the return. That's easily disproven with return statistics. And yeah, I'm getting a little bit, It is not my job to answer questions from another slots channel's mistakes. Um, Interesting. Yeah, good for you. Question from Magpie. What are your thoughts on trying the 5-SIM method on each denomination machine you determine to be worth playing? Yeah, that, maybe this will help you with Johnny, what you do. I like the 10 pull method. Gives me a little bit better data, but five pull method will also work. The 10 pull method is more my tough love approach. 5-spin is a little bit cheaper, but I want to be a little more certain. So just make 5 bets per denomination. Switch the denomination, and if you win anything at all, or 10 bets, win anything at all, on one of them, it should be very clear which denomination has got the better return. Yeah. Camilla says casino employees are also instructed. This is in response to a prior question about overreacting to wins, and last week I talked about reducing, staying under the radar. Yes, casino employees. Yeah, there's something like 200 hand pays on an average casino, about 200 hand pays a day, and they got to be kind of work themselves up to be excited. They're just they're just workers, and yeah, I'm sure they're instructed to react. There's a lot of scripting going on for casino employees. They can't very well say, I think you should leave, you're spending too much money. That could get them fired, honestly. Yeah, casino employees have told me that. Fired casino employees have told me that. Okay, so they paid it. Good. I'm glad that they paid it. So that's less likely that it was a fault because of that. It might have been a little more real. Otherwise, they won't pay for it if there was truly an error. But then they might say, well, this is a good reason to bring those down, and we're going to turn it off until we check things out. Yeah. And Q Dog says, does playing slow produce results? Playing slow saves you money. On the other hand, if it's if you're doing an evaluation, like for instance, the 5-spin method on 20 different machines, if you play slowly, then you have an opportunity to, have fun for longer, even if nothing pops, nothing happens because of the evaluation that you're doing. On the other hand, when winning is good, then if everybody's winning around me, and on the hour, 40 minutes later, everybody stops winning, then you had an opportunity that you didn't take advantage of. So there are times when you do want to bet as fast as possible. But otherwise, it's a great loss limit method, and loss limits are important. Yeah. Homer, I tried the deja vu method on Wicked Wheel, where I had a hand pay at Hard Rock Tampa, but it didn't work. That machine that hits every day of the week at 4M, it lets you hit small jackpots. Right. So I wasn't clear about this, perhaps, that when you come back, when you come back, it's not like you're going to win the same amount. It's just that the odds are better at that time, as you discovered when you won. And if you do this 3 times, and each time you win, then you have some confirmation they do have the deja vu method. So that works, for you. But it isn't the same amount of jackpot. It could be more. It could be less. It's just a winning time. Yeah. It's not a duplicate win. And it could be a smaller win, but on the other hand, would you have won those smaller wins if you hadn't done this? Yeah, they can lower the odds across the board a week later, but you're still, the idea here is you're on the machine based on your last win, which if it wins, it will be the one that wins out of all the machines. And that's what's working here. So even if they reduce the odds, you still got a small jackpot. And if it goes up, then you have more. Terry, I'm so sorry about whatever happened. I'm glad that you were able to get one of your questions answered. I'm sorry that I did not. Well, it's not like I didn't see it. It just wasn't there. Thank you. Yep. Oh no, Paula has let the word out. Yes, and with my birthdays, which is not long after Halloween, uh, I usually get candy as a diabetic. Maybe that's why that happened. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It is much appreciated, and and I will, wishing you. I hope you have a great Halloween, and that's awesome. So let's see, make sure I have this for you and that for you, and yes. So exactly. So yes, improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses plus 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership, where you get community support and accountability. Thursday night meetings are awesome. This last one was just fantastic. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. Okay, so that's it. What a great live stream. You'll see me in my next live stream on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific. In the meantime, watch this video on making sure you know the steps to change your slot strategy by raising or lowering your bankroll, including learning a new slots gambling method, handling more hand pays, keeping gambling records, and tracking those pesky income taxes. Bye.